Hey guys, we came across an interesting article. It is a true case concerning a Buddhist monk. Geshe Jampa Gyatso was an accomplished Tibetan Buddhist monk. He had obtained the title of a Geshe scholar, which is the equivalent of a Tibetan Buddhist doctorate. He was a former political prisoner, and also a spiritual guide in the office of Tibet of Taiwan after he had migrated to Taiwan, and had also spread the Dharma there for 22 years. On the 14th of July 2020, at the age of 85, Geshe passed away in a hospital in Taiwan. According to reports from his students, he died peacefully of natural causes and no resuscitation was performed on him. After he was clinically declared dead, it was originally planned to cremate his body 3 days after the funeral. On the 16th of July, his close friend had arrived for the prayer services which were held on the first and second day of his funeral in Taiwan. And on the 17th of July, 3 days after Geshe's passing, both the friend and the abbot of the International Tibetan Buddhist Center named Jigme Namgyal had noticed something peculiar. Despite it being the third day since his passing, his face had a lively glow. He did not look like he was dead. In fact, he looked as though he was asleep. Since they also noticed there was no odor from his body, nor change of his skin color at all, they suspected he might be in what Buddhists called as the state of thukdam. Now thukdam refers in Tibetan Buddhist to a deep meditative state whereby the soul or spirit had left the body, but the body is not completely dead because there is still life force retained in the body. It is somewhat comparable to the state of incorruptible body of a deceased Catholic saint in the West. So both of Geshe's acquaintances decided to withhold the cremation plan, and consult with the Office of Tibet for the decision. On the 19th of July, which was 5 days after his passing, the staff of the Office of Tibet visited the funeral to check out Geshe's body, and found that there was indeed no change in his skin color, no odor nor any sign of bodily decay. Geshe's face still had a lively glow and appeared more like being asleep instead of being deceased. Now surprisingly, when they touched him, not only was his skin soft and supple, it felt warm to the touch. They were baffled. Now they were unsure if the doctors had correctly declared him as deceased. At this point it was not elaborated in details what occurred, but they observed something which caused them to doubt if Geshe was truly deceased and made them to call for the medical team for further examination. Now again, we do not know what bodily vital signs were observed by the medical team and whether Geshe was actually breathing, but we do know Geshe indeed had a pulse, and it caused them to be so bewildered and doubtful on continuing with the cremation plan, that they promptly had to relay the matter to His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Secretary Tsejiam from the office of Dalai Lama received and conveyed Dalai Lama's instruction, which was to invite as many medical professionals and scientists as possible, to perform tests and examine Geshe's body to further research the phenomenon of thukdam, before making plans to cremate his body. This was the first time ever for the public scientific field to study the thukdam phenomenon. What transpired next were a series of scientific tests and medical examinations. The incredible notable results were Geshe's presence of cardiac activities, his neurological responses, oxygen blood level and blood circulation. It was officially reported that the scientists and researchers, namely Li Dinghua, Li Shichang and Wu Maokuan, as well as other assisting researchers, all witnessed an interesting phenomenon. That was how this photo came about. This photo was taken on the 24th of July, when they attached the pulse oximeter to Geshe's right index finger. It detected blood oxygen, as well as a pulse, present. The readings varied over the days, but when the photo was taken, he had a blood oxygen level of 82% and pulse of 130 beats per minute. According to Li Shichang, the signals, however, were less detectable after a few days. Even though this was the most compelling proof of thukdam phenomenon, the researchers who were interviewed all declined to reveal further details on their tests. We researched and found the exact pulse oximeter being used and verified what was in the photo as authentic. On the 24th of July, physicist Professor Tinghua Li and his assistants also performed some tests on the body. On the 28th of July and 1st of August, Taiwan University's psychology professor Xie Bojian and his assistants conducted neurological examination of Geshe's brain. He said that when the first measurement was performed on the 28th of July, there seemed to be a certain amount of brain response, but added that on August 1st, the report was inconclusive and details were not released. During this period, Dr. Tse Ten Dorje of Delek Hospital had also joined in the examination and research. The scientists, professors and medical professionals all compiled photos and videos documentation, plus accounts from caretakers and students on the Geshe's 28-day period of thukdam phenomenon, which was submitted to the office of His Holiness the Dalai Lama before coming to the final decision, which was to cremate Geshe's body on 21st of August 2020, following the Tibetan astrological traditions. Now, all the photos that we have shown here were for release to the public. What's not released were the videos, test reports and research findings of Geshe as they are under the property of the office of His Holiness, the medical and research institutions involved. We know that in the various interviews on the Asian network, none of the representatives provide in-depth details on their finding, including the photo in which the pulse was measured. The reason this story was not widely known was because it was published in Taiwanese Chinese within the Buddhist community and on Tibetan News Network. Now we have reached the end of the story. Like and subscribe for more. See you in the next one.